What's up, everybody? Let's do this. Hope you all having a great day. So we're going to talk through, as we have been for many weeks now, but let's just dive in even deeper as you're building out your own high ticket mastermind. So we get a lot of questions about efficiency in this group right here. We get a lot of questions about how to build a high ticket mastermind. So two things I've done, and let me kind of explain my history here because I think it'll help you as you're deciding a little bit about your own mastermind process. Two things I've done. Number one is I've run a digital agency, like a marketing agency, in several niches for the past, I don't know, 8, 9 years. And that's given me a lot of background knowledge into my specific area of expertise. You got to figure out your specific area of expertise. And this time last week, we actually talked more about deciding who you're going to help with what kind of transformation, because that absolutely is the basis for you attracting the right people to your high ticket mastermind. All right. You don't just want people, you got to have the right people, right? That's so important. So let's just kind of roll through the attraction process. So if you go back and think through how you're attracting people, all right, it's got to be the right kind of person that wants the transformation that you offer. So first of all, think about who you are right now and then back that up like 2 years. Go back 2 years, 3 years. Remember those times in your life. Maybe mark it with what was a vacation like that year? Where was I living that year? What were the big life events around that year, 2, 3 years ago? And then remember back to where you were as a professional. What was your level of expertise in your current area of expertise at that point? That's who you're attracting most likely is people who were back there, who are currently like you used to be. They're a step behind you and you've already cracked the code on something, right? So that is an easy way to start thinking about who you're going to attract. Lots of other ways. If you've got a completely different subset of the world that's not your journey, but you're wanting to attract a different kind of who, you can totally do that. Just be clear, get a niche, pick it down, like layer in there and figure out who are you attracting and what kind of transformation, life change are you helping them with? What kind of drain and doubt are you helping them overcome in life to accomplish their dream, right? We talked about that dream, drain, doubt methodology. Make sure that you're helping them overcome really important things. Okay, let's talk about attraction. Okay, so you got to attract the right people to your high ticket mastermind. There are so many ways to do this, and it's so overwhelming and noisy. So I'm going to kind of break down some categories and help simplify this for you guys. And as always, this is Q&A style, so feel free to chime in, ask your questions. If you're feeling stuck as we go along, ask your question. We'll stop and clarify. Okay, there's a bunch of automated stuff that you can do, right? Tim, what's up, man? Great to see you, dude. There's a bunch of automated stuff you can do. And oh, Tim, man, check this out. My team got me some cool branding for this. Look at that. Yay, live with Chris Williams. So make sure, first up, that you're thinking through these categories, okay? The categories are important because there's automation when it comes to attraction. There's lots of automated stuff, all right? Let's just kind of group the whole thing of like funnels, ads, like paid traffic, all of that into the automated section, okay? So if you're building a funnel, let's say you have like ClickFunnels or WordPress or this lead page is still a thing, whatever, any of those, and you're just dumping traffic to that thing, and you're trying to get people to either fill an application or buy a lower ticket offer and then upsell them into a high ticket mastermind. Let's call that automation, okay? I'm also going to throw into automation, but I'm going to make this a little bit of a hybrid. If you're using any kind of bots that are out there on social media acting as a real human to attract people to you, like if you're using any kind of messaging bot on Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or something like that, that's going to be kind of automation for sure, but it's trying to act like an organic process, okay? We all know when we click on an ad, it's automation. Sometimes we don't know if we're interacting with a bot. We'll talk through some pros and cons of that. And then let's move to the third section here. The third section is really, what are you doing to just be 100% organic and authentic and really work with the people you've got as you talking to them. Yeah, Tim, transparent overlays. Gotta love that, right? All right, so here is how this works. Absolutely. We're going to take some reverse order. I just walked you through automation, then that middle ground, just big general broad categories. And then the really authentic organic way. You got to automate the organic. All right. When it comes to attraction for anything high ticket, all right, unless you already have a huge pre-existing audience, like thousands of people on an email list, something like that. And by the way, a lot of people who kind of preach the whole automation thing, like, oh, you can build a funnel and throw all these ads, I'll add dollars at it and just boom, you're going to figure it out. It's going to get the numbers for you. That's really not true. You got to have an organic process that you're automating. So unless you have a huge list already, which means you've already dialed in your who and your what and a lot of things that are working for you, you really got to have that organic process first. So pick your favorite social media platform. All right. Doesn't matter to me what it is. It could be Facebook. It could be LinkedIn, Instagram, Clubhouse. Where are you most comfortable? All right. And hang out there. It could be TikTok. Twitter. It doesn't matter. Everybody is everywhere. All right. I know there are probably some places where, let's say, huge corporate CEOs, let's say they hang out more on LinkedIn than TikTok. Probably so. But there are a lot of huge corporate CEOs on TikTok. Okay. Just saying. Let's say that your market is, let's say 22-year-olds who are, really into travel. Cool. They're probably on Instagram more than on Facebook, right? But there's a ton of them on Facebook too. I'm trying to say that to say if you're more comfortable on Facebook and you're going after a market of 22-year-old travel-oriented people, it's okay to market on Facebook. Just because there might be 60 or 70% of them on Instagram doesn't mean the other 30% that are on Facebook aren't your market. And there are so many more of them than you can ever work with on any platform. So first of all, pick the platform you're most comfortable with. Okay. And then we're going to get out there and you're going to start telling your story. You're going to really start working with who are you talking to? How are you communicating your transformation to them? That is so important. What really matters is that you communicate your transformation. You help them understand how you have overcome your doubts and the drain of life that stopped you from doing what you figured out how to do and how it's helped you accomplish your dream. All right. Figuring that out is what they want to do. You're letting them know, hey, I've gone before you. I've figured it out and you can do this too. All right. Oversimplifying it in these conversations is extremely important because you can get down deep in the nitty gritty. But honestly, that's e-course kind of territory. It's what happens in your real mastermind kind of territory. It's reading a book. When you're just doing like a podcast or a 30-minute live or something like that, you got to just simply say, here's the broad categories and help them see how they can accomplish it. They can go YouTube it to death. They can go read a book. They can engage in your services more and more if they want to. But bottom line is they got to catch a vision about who they are today, where they want to get to, their dream. I want to go from where I am now to this big dream I have. And I need some very simple steps to understand how to get there. So first of all, use organic methods. Start your own Facebook group and talk about what you do in there. Start your own big LinkedIn thing, like just start going to town with LinkedIn and talk about what you're doing there. Jump on Instagram and talk about what you're doing there, right? Do the Clubhouse thing, get a podcast. And let me read this thing from Tim real quick. Tim, I'm offering a 6-week group coaching program for $14.97 for people who want to make massive impact by launching their own live show in 6 weeks. Super cool, man. Never charged this much before. I create a sales page, but any other tips of how to attract people after normally offering low-level programs? Yeah, Tim, first of all, dude, that 6-week group coaching program right there for $1,500 basically, making a massive impact on people launching their own live show in 6 weeks. Dude, you could charge more than that. And that is right there so valuable for anybody who's trying to figure out how to launch their own live show on any platform. The amount of time they're going to spend trying to crack the code on that and not get good at it, man, that's a big deal. You're fixing to save people so much time. And honestly, you're probably going to save them close to $1,500 just in helping them make the right purchases on equipment and setting up their studio or whatever you help them do. That's a big deal. What if you took that offer right there, Tim, and you said, hey, this is a $2,500 offer or a $5,000 offer. And it's going to be, I'm just going to go with, yeah, you'd love charging more. Let's do it. I would just say, like, this is a slightly longer offer, maybe an 8-week or 12-week offer. And I know it's home studio or launching a live course, but there's a lot to it, right? We got to learn to look at a camera. We got to learn to get our audio right and our video and our lighting right, not just the studio setup, but there's a lot of comfort in knowing how to do this on-screen thing. So let's say that you made it a 12-week process. You take people through it who already have a proven offer. They're just trying to make the transition. So you know you're working with people who already have cash flow and already know how to make money. You're helping them make a transition to a different stage, a different platform, right? So if you made it a 12-week process and offered accountability in there, hey, we're going to show up 12 weeks in a row. We're going to do the homework. We're going to measure your studio. We're going to get the lighting and the technology and all that figured out. And then we're going to roll in and we're actually going to keep you accountable in the process. At this week, you got to show up with your audio equipment, this week video, this week lighting, just making this up as I go. And then we're going to start doing some drills, looking at the camera, making sure we get things right, showing us how to do StreamYard or whatever we're going to do. Then that would be a process that you could probably attract a higher end buyer to. Somebody who's already successful, already got their process and their product dialed in, but they just need help cutting the time it takes to go live. I would kind of lean that direction. There's a lot of, I would think in the coaching consulting space right now, there's a lot of folks who are struggling with how to actually do all the technology. Still, even after a year of a little bit of craziness out there, just everybody having to go virtual, a lot of that's still out there. So I would raise your prices and I would sweeten that up a little bit and stick with it. I would be charging $14.97 for the e-course, the recordings of what you did in your mastermind. But Tim, that's a really cool process and product right there. Love it, man. When it comes to attracting people, Tim, to answer your question and to go back to where I was talking about, absolutely, Tim. If I was you, I'd be building like a Facebook group and inviting coaches, consultants, the people who are kind of trying to get on camera right now, invite them to your Facebook group and just let them know, hey, we talk about getting that home studio or that go live show process really dialed in, and we do it rapidly and quickly. You can even say, we'll get you on a live show and we'll get that done really quickly. Hang on. Excuse me. A little sneeze there. It's kind of sinusy out right now. Like not sinusy. It's just kind of pollen-y. Actually got a pollen warning on my phone this morning. Like it was going to be really high-end pollen. So anyway, sorry. So Tim, you could even say that, excuse me, like the 6-week program would get you, like on a live program. Like you're going to be live in 6 weeks and we're going to get you really good at being live over the 12-week process. Just so they can have a win quickly and then they can dive in and really get that level of expertise that they want in the whole program and process. And maybe even show them some tips for how to close business while they're on live. You know, sometimes people close business in group settings, like they're doing a webinar or something like this. Sometimes people close business one-on-one in Zoom calls. There's different ways that studio and that look and that feel should be set up. If it's one-on-one and more intimate, more personal, versus if it's a, live show or a webinar, or they're on a virtual summit or whatever, that kind of thing. So hope that helps. Get a group, get a Facebook group, Tim. If you're out there and you just love the LinkedIn process, or you love Clubhouse, or you love TikTok or Instagram, bottom line is build a place. Make your brand show up in a place where you're comfortable delivering your conversation. All right. If you're like, Chris, I don't want to have to learn LinkedIn. Oh my gosh, what a big deal to have to figure out. Don't figure it out then. If Facebook's your thing, do Facebook. If Instagram's your thing, do Instagram. I love Facebook, not because I love Facebook, but because I love Facebook groups. Facebook groups allow you and me to converse about one topic, and they cut the noise out. That's why I love Facebook groups, is because I can get the noise out of my life and I can dive into Facebook groups I'm a part of. I'm a part of an electric skateboard Facebook group, an electric bike group. I have a Super 73 electric bike, and I have an Evolve skateboard. So I'm involved in 2 different communities for that one. And I like that because I can click that and all of a sudden all the noise of all of the chatter goes away and I can just scroll through and dive into stuff that I'm really interested about, right? Same with you inviting people to a Facebook group. It allows people to be immersed in your conversation and the content that you're delivering to them. You can do the same type thing on Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere else. It's just noisier. It's a little harder to isolate the conversation. Bottom line is though, go after the organic, get a place that you're comfortable with, reach out to the people in your niche that are identifying themselves as the people that you want. I mean, you can just search on any platform and they raise their hands. They self-identify on any platform. Here's who I am. Here's what's in my title. Here's my bio. They tell you who they are. It's so great. Invite them to your conversation. If you're on Clubhouse, invite them to follow. If you're on Instagram, invite them to follow. If you're on LinkedIn or Facebook, invite them not just to be your friend or to like, but to make sure or follow you, but make sure they actually get invited to your Facebook group. Do something like that. Get organic conversations going. Once you have that organic thing dialed in and you're having conversations on a regular basis where you're delivering content and then people are interacting with it, or they followed you and then you've DM'd them somehow, let them know, hey, thanks for following. I've got more information. Would you like to join our group, or would you like to jump on a Zoom call, or how can I help you? What's going on? Don't make it creepy. Just help them where they are. All right. Let's take a step back from social media, folks, and pretend that you're actually just hosting a house party. All right. People are coming to your house. They're hanging out in your backyard, around the gardens, the pools, whatever. They're just doing their thing. And it's not your job to try to force them to have some hors d'oeuvres or a drink or to make sure they have fun. It's your job to just simply say, hey, come on in. So glad you're here. Hey, drinks over there, food's over here. Love to introduce you to my friend over here. Anything I can get you, right? If you just be a cool host like that in whatever platform you're running on, people will lean in and say, oh my gosh, thanks for inviting me, first of all. And yeah, I'd love a drink, or yeah, I'm kind of hungry, or oh my gosh, I see a friend over there. Let me go hang out with them. You're going to make those connections happen, and they're going to start leaning in on you as the host. That's what social media is all about. It's not about getting super fancy and having the right banner and the right hashtags. Yeah, those things are important and they're helpful. But if you're just starting out and you don't have that huge audience, you don't have it dialed in yet, be authentic, be organic, invite people to where you're sharing information about the transformation that they want, and simply have conversations and be very intentional about one-on-one communication. So you can build a relationship, say, hey, thanks for joining my community. Here's what we talk about. Is there anything you'd like me to talk about in the future? You can ask questions like that. Just get them talking. And if they come out and ask for something that you're really good at, then great. Say, hey, I'm really good at that. You want to jump on a Zoom call and talk more? Or, hey, thanks for mentioning that. I'm going to present something next week to answer that question specifically. Reach out, build that relationship. Then you can take it a step farther and see if you can help them in real life in a real way in your product or service. It's not that difficult. So we talked about early on, we have all the automated stuff, right? The ads, the funnels, everything automated. You can just push people through. But unless you have a huge list, it's going to be a really expensive and heartbreaking start. Then we have that middle ground, which is like bots, right? So with what I just mentioned, that's the purely organic way, getting in social media platforms and doing your thing. The bot structure, which I don't personally use bots. I know a lot of people do it and it's fine. I don't have a problem with it. It's just not my thing. I like the full authentic, feel of organic one-on-one conversation. But bots help you, particularly on LinkedIn, they help you just kind of identify a lot of conversation threads and see who's going to buy into that conversation thread. Again, that's not my thing. It's a little more automated, acting like it's a human. Again, that's not a bad thing. It's just not my thing. If that's what you want to do, make sure that you understand the one-on-one communication and have done that work before you engage bots. Otherwise, your bots will fail and you'll get a lot of negative feedback. If your bots are repeating what you know works organically and you've really done the organic work, which, folks, is real work, then your bots will work, okay? Assuming the platform you're on doesn't kick you out for using a bot, but that's a whole nother issue, right? And then let's talk about the full automation process. All right, landing pages, running paid traffic to landing pages, doing webinars, VSLs, like video sales letters, things like that you're putting out there that are really automated, and you're just dumping people through a lower ticket or a free offer to get them in a buying cycle. Again, that's great stuff, but you got to know what has been working organically and then what has been working in an automated sense. But that transition, you have to dial in the organic first, because if you try to automate a vacuum, you will get a vacuum in return. If you automate the organic that has been working, then that will start working. There's little bridges you have to make, like, okay, so when I reach out to someone organically, one-on-one, in a direct message on social media after they've been in some, let's say, Facebook group, for instance. I know that process. If I'm transitioning that to really a cold ad hitting a cold audience, what is it about my one-on-one and Facebook group conversations that I can repeat and make relevant and make that Facebook ad seem the same way? Because whatever it is that's working in the organic space needs to work in the automated space. You got to just transition the organic feel that you've got into that ad and into the steps that go through your funnel so that it feels very similar, because you've already got something that's working with your personality in your market. So going and creating something that's not your personality and not your market, and you've hacked someone else's funnel completely and not made it your own, you're not them. Unless your personality and your market match that person's exactly, you're simply not them, and it'll create burnout for you and your market. So you automate the organic. So go out there first up, right? Unless you have a large list already, go out there first up. Work in the space you're most comfortable in, meaning the social media platform you're most comfortable in. Build your own space in that platform, right? You can go stalk other people's Facebook groups, or you can have your own Facebook group. It is easier to find thousands of people by stalking someone else's Facebook group. But if you really want to have a meaningful conversation with someone and be seen as the expert in your space, have your own Facebook group, right? You can stalk other LinkedIn groups and conversation threads, or you can create your own. And I know it might seem like crickets for a while and no one's there for a while, but invite the people that are on profile for you to your space and have meaningful conversation in your profile, in your groups, in your lives. If you've got that kind of capacity on whatever platform you use, have meaningful conversations. Even if there's not a lot of comments or whatever going on, it's okay. People will come back and stalk you and they'll realize, oh my gosh, this person's got some good information. It doesn't matter how many people are watching live. What matters is that you're doing it out there. It doesn't matter how many people comment on it. What matters is that you're doing it. Because the stalkers, when you reach out to someone just like you do, we stalk each other, right? We just put their profile, see them on vacation, who's their spouse, who's their dog, and oh yeah, look at all these things. Oh man, they got some good information here. That's all you want them to think. That way you can jump in there and continue to add value and build that know, like, and trust model. That is how you start the attraction process and get it really up and running in that high ticket mastermind space or one-on-one coaching, or quite frankly, done for you services. It's the same. If it's high ticket, relationships are the big foundational piece of that. Hope that helps. Do that work. You'll get results. As you're going through that process, once you build a relationship and people are saying, yeah, here's what I'd like to know more about, or can you help me with this, or man, I love your group, or whatever they're saying, if there's a real interaction going there, then make the ask. Jump out there and say, hey, let's jump on a Zoom call and talk more about this. If I can help you, I'd love to. Do the real work. Once you go through the process of building that relationship in the larger platform and then one-on-one messages, the people who are leaning in and talking more and more to you will jump on a Zoom call with you because they've already come to know, like, and trust you. And they know that your information is relevant and that you're the real deal. And that's a good thing because that shows you and confirms for you who your market is and who they're not. And it confirms to you what kind of messaging is working, what kind is not. It lets you know that the transformation you're offering, the solution that helps them accomplish their dream and overcome their drain and their doubt, it helps you identify that and confirms that for you and gives you a great chance to talk to real people in a real space. You got this. Go out there and do the work to get the results. Any of you that are in my mastermind know I say it all the time, do work, get results. In this attraction process, it's work because you got to actually show up and do the organic so you can figure it out. And it takes some time. But over a couple of weeks, literally, you can get sales results out of that. It doesn't take a long time. It just takes intentional work. All right, kids, talk soon. You got this. Do work, get results.